Okay, what I'm going to be doing here is just a quick overview of the 2.1 patch. If you want to read this on your own, actually, let me get rid of the reverb there. If you want to read this on your own, what you're going to want to do is head over and search Diablo patch 2.1.0 first look in Blizzard's uh, in BattleNet, and you'll find it. So the table of contents is you got seasons, greater rifts, leaderboards, combat changes, and cesspools. And you got some preamble stuff here that doesn't really give you any information. And this really doesn't give you any information anyway, but I'm gonna go ahead and make a video about it anyway. So, because I have some opinions. You've got a season, uh, ladder, ladder season coming up. They're calling it seasons, but they have to be, cute and unique, so they can't call it a ladder season. I'm guessing. I guess it's your conquest season. So they have conquest, which is basically achievements, and they're a higher caliber of achievement than the regular achievements, and there's no specific reward. Uh, it doesn't appear like you get a new banner. You know, yay! Really, kind of happy with the banner I have. So I don't think I'll be using any new banners unless they have, one that looks exactly like my family's coat of arms. I don't think that I'm going to care. Uh, Greater rifts. I'm guessing they're just a higher difficulty level rift with higher drop rates. I'll post that there so that you can look at if you want to read it. They're time based. One interesting thing is that they don't drop loot, so you know you don't have to worry about picking gear up and that taking time, which is it's logical, uh, and I'll give them props for thinking of it because that is the kind of thing that Blizzard wouldn't have thought of. So they actually did kind of not drop the ball on that one little aspect. I guess when you get hit over the head enough times, you start going, "Hey, I don't want to get hit in the head again." So what's gonna get me hit in the head, and let's avoid that. There's a little bit of a death penalty in there. They don't want you zerging too much. I don't know where that term comes from, zerging. I mean, I know where it comes from, but I don't know how it applies. There's a lot of video game terms floating around out there that just don't make any sense. They work in one game and then they get transferred into other games where they just don't make any sense. But I guess it's a definable term, so they use it. Legendary gems, of course, we don't have any information on them. They're infinitely upgradable. What does that mean? So I'm guessing that they'll have more than one affix on them, which might make them cool. I don't know. Oh, now we're all gonna have to pay to enter a rift, and that's pretty anti-multiplayer. It wouldn't surprise me if they dumped that idea completely. People are gonna start going back to playing single player games. because you just took away the incentive to play in multiplayer games. Is somebody else opens a rift and you go in and get your rewards, and you're able to conserve rift fragments that way. There's going to be an advantage, I guess, to drop rates, but they need to counter that by increasing the drops or doing something like increasing the experience when you're in multiplayer games. Uh, Leaderboards are for the junkies out there that have nothing else to do with their time. I have like 16 hobbies, so I play for like 3 hours a day or a week, maybe 5 hours a week if I'm actually interested. One of the changes, the combat changes, seems to be uh, the one that people are going to notice, and they're changing dexterity from dodge to armor. Now, how that'll work, I'm not sure. You know, if it's like a half a dozen or six, I'm not sure. It seems like it's gonna be that. Uh, from what they're describing here, it looks like it might help you a little more against those ground effects. But a monk has such high resistances that those ground effects are kind of laughable anyway. uh, the healing thing seems to be creating a bit of confusion, uh, where people are saying, "Hey, this needs to be moved to a secondary mod now because I'm gonna have to sacrifice critical damage, and I can't do that because critical damage is critical in this game. Like if you take critical hit damage of any kind off of an item, you have to basically drop down to a lower difficulty level. So these are going to be some contentious points on the forums, is dealing with this change in healing. People want to have life on hit, but they don't want to not kill enemies. Like, a lot of monks out there are just meat shields. They can't even really function in single player games very well at higher difficulty levels. Like, they literally are pure meat shields. Like, they don't kill anything. They just stand there and attack stuff and hope that the people around them, hopefully a witch doctor, is in game and they can attract the attention of the enemies while the witch doctor kills them. So they're gonna have to work. They're gonna have to work this little aspect of this out. Is you know, you're not getting rid of uh, one thing. You're getting rid of two things by doing this. So they're gonna get hit over the head over this until they make a decision. And I kind of agree. I think that this that there needs to be, the good fix for me is get rid of stats on items. The primary stats especially, get rid of those on items and make them inherent on the character or upgradable with gems, i.e., you know the amount of gem slots that a person can have will be a greater factor in the amount of primary or secondary stats like vit or primary that they can upgrade their character with, and then put a lot more on the character as a base. That way, these changes here won't be a screw job, which is looks like they're going to be. I'm not going to put life on hit on my wizard just to survive over doing damage to the enemies. She already has enough trouble doing that anyway. Cesspools is a new area, as they said. Here, I'll expand this. As they said, wow, that really looks like the cesspools from my mod. Hey, you guys ripping me off? Uh, this is an area that they were building in, but they didn't have a place to stick it, so they decided to make it uh, part of the Nephilim rifts. And they should do that a little bit more. And that's really all that they talk about in this. Is the real changes is, aside from content, which is going to be the Nephilim rifts in the latter season, is the dexterity change, which I think is going to be a push for a lot of builds. You know, the demon hunter and the demon hunter really needs help. This is totally a glass cannon. The the monk the monk's problem is damage. You know, you look at the amount of damage that a monk does compared to a wizard, and especially compared to a witch doctor, and it's sort of laughable. Uh, like my monk has a decent amount of gear on, and uh, I think does 290,000 damage, and has all the critical stuff going on. Uh, with getting rid of one with everything, which is another part of this patch that I didn't really talk about. Uh, that's a complete screw job. They need to put resistances to all as a secondary stat. Also, the life on hit is something that the community is saying needs to be moved to a secondary stat, which I kind of agree with. But resistances to all absolutely has to now, because without that, the monk has to sacrifice uh, either critical hit damage or critical hit chance in order to maintain life on hit. You know, F you Blizzard again. You know, why don't you guys just like make like a universal mod? You know, like one affix on every item and make it like have six benefits so that everybody just runs around and collects gear that has like, you know, a little bit better, you know, ooh, this one's five higher than yeah, okay, I'm done. Oh, wait. Sorry. Didn't mean to hit that button. You probably, yeah, you can actually see that. Okay, so let me close this out and upload it.